Okay, now the new sports minister. So where do we start, Aya?
Where do we start? Where do we start? For several months we've been talking about this. Should we have a minister of sports? Should we not have? Proponents for and those against. Yeah. But, well, the federal government in its wisdom has deemed it necessary that we will definitely have a sports ministry. Now, whoever comes in, whether he's sports inclined or not, that's another kettle of fish. Yes. But from what we now know, Solomon Dalong has been given that huge responsibility to take Nigerian sports to the next level. Okay. Well, so many people have been talking about him. If you saw the inauguration yesterday, yes. A certain man dressed in...
Manu, can't just look at the
in a paramilitary outfit, you know, he stepped up, and some people were already asking, "Who's that man? Who's that man?" Yes. And they said, "Hey, that's Solomon Dalong. That's the man who's going to be, you know, leading Nigerian sports to the next level." He was the one dressed in the man of war outfit. Well, there is this profile. A legal officer served in the Nigerian prisons service. Was a personal assistant to the late Solomon Law, the bigwig there in Plateau State politics, who passed on not too long ago, who was also a lecturer in the Faculty of Law in the University of Jos. Yes, he also served as the chairman of the Langtang South Local Government Area from Plateau State, and is also the founder of the Dalong Youth Organization, a convener of the Plateau Youth Music Concert, and a strong supporter of Plateau United Football Club. Well, that
okay, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So what's the good one? Sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
No, I think like the good one.
Yeah, that is a supporter of a Plateau United.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Okay, well, let's get to talk to one of the men who actually said, well, we really don't need a sports minister. I'm talking about Tunde Popola, who happens to be the Secretary General of Nigeria Olympic Committee. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Great to have you here.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Now, what do you think about the new sports minister?
Well, I want to say this. I'd like to congratulate the president himself, President Buhari, who is also the patron of the Nigerian Olympic Committee, for getting a minister. Before now, you had my opinion about not having a minister, and I have very genuine reason for not asking that. But I think the president, in his very good wisdom, has given us recognition. I would say recognition this time around, and which we appreciate so much, because by appointing a minister for us, and then some other ministers are matched, that shows that he is really, really, really interested in sports. And so at this point, I want to say, yes, I need to congratulate the new minister, Solomon Dalong. I will welcome him to the stable. I think at this point in time, we will need to work very hard with him to ensure that the issues, you know, that happened in the past, why we are not asking for a sports minister, is not repeated. And I think I welcome him, and also congratulate all Nigerians, especially the stakeholders in sports, for getting this new sports minister in place.
All right, Mr. Popola, let's now look at it. I mean, his profile. This is a man who has, you know, obviously has no clear experience in the sporting world. He's never held any high-profile administrative position in sports, and now he's been given such a huge responsibility. What's your reaction to this? Is this really what we should be doing at this point in time?
No, I need to say this. You can recall what happened during the last All African Games in Congo. We had the best results so far, and I will tell you, it's not simply because the athletes went through the best of training or had the best of preparation, but simply because we operated like a family, and there's so much trust about those people handling the affairs of sports. I now need to say that he's in good hands now. If you look at the Ministry of Sports, you have the technical they are running at the DG. Of course, the NOC also as well. And no one does not need to praise himself. But I will tell you, these are people who have gone through the whole gamut of whatever he calls the sport, either as an athlete, as a coach, as an administrator. So he has good people that he can work with. The only advice I need to give at this point in time is that you should listen, and then very practical with the stakeholders. These are people who have the best interest at hand and people who are ready to work at any point in time. If you are a sports person, you need to really understand that the mechanism of running sports is quite different from that which you use in running some other offices. This is the technical department. And I think as a minister who is not really being branded, I must be very, very, very frank here, in sports matters, you will need to take his time, listen to people, listen to technocrats, listen to those who are in the federations, listen to people who come with genuine reasons. And of course, I will also advise at this point in time that you should probably get a board, maybe an advisory board, who will assist him all the way. We are ready, to give him all the best in getting sports to the level at which we expect to be in the near future.
Okay, what are the areas you actually want him to focus on?
Well, I think the first thing I need to say here now, and I think it's very, very critical, is that of the youth empowerment, which is a very, very critical area. I mean, sports has so many areas where you can get the youth fully engaged, taking them off the streets, and then, working out to get glorious for our good country. And of course, this will also assist us in aspects of peace, So that's one area I think you need to concentrate. And secondly, you also need to look at national sports policy. There are a few areas there which a lot of people will advise him on, so that we can get this thing easier and more to the public. Thirdly, also you need to talk about the areas of funding. We've been going around, backward and forward on the issue of giving incentives to the corporates who are supposed to support funding of sports, because we all know that government can't do it alone. That's one basic thing. We need to let him come on, and then maybe impress him much on the Federal Executive Council, to come up with one strong policy that will encourage more the stakeholders, so they can support sports. I won't say sport really is a government business, but I think at this level of development, which is we are a developing country, I mean we have been so classified. Government cannot really wait from doing things for sports. So a lot of funding, a lot of play at the Federal Executive Council to ensure that we get the funds at when due is very key. And then the third one is about the issue of infrastructures. I mean, this is very, very key. Look all around us. Look at it. I'm in stadium in Lagos. My office is right there. Every time I come in the office, the place is, for me, it's a mess. It is great. I mean, we need to look at all those ones and let us say how we're going to develop those facilities, put them back in shape. It's their money making area. So it should also approach sports as a business. We have been taking sports as if, it's one of those things, and then, if football does not go on, then there's no sport in this country. For me, it should not, and I will repeat the word, should not be a sports minister. That will incur the wrath, and even the word, the wrath, very, very clearly here, because that's the way I speak, of the lot of stakeholders in sports. He should grow other sports. He should develop other sports. He should give an opportunity for every citizen on the street to have an opportunity to develop themselves one way or the other. Through one sport, other from the rivers to down to land to the air, whatever. I mean, we need to give opportunities for our young ones. And again, entrepreneurship. You should encourage that. There's so much money to be made in sports if it's well done. I mean, it is well pronounced, and then encouraged, for all the other people on the streets. Youth, for example, let's talk about the policy. You build a school, there are no training grants. I don't know how you can influence that, but I think with all colleagues now, when you want to develop an institution, when you want to build a school, it must make very compulsory that you must have the free grants or through policy. These are things we need. He has a lot to do, and I welcome him to this table.
All right, Mr. Kokwala, definitely. We understand all the things you've talked about. I mean, you really set an agenda for the new Minister for Youth and Sports. But very quickly, because we're really running out of time, very quickly, the National Sports Commission. This is one commission that has been there for quite a while. it has been functioning even before this minister came into office. What should we be doing really, very quickly, to empower the National Sports Commission to be able to achieve more things? Now that we have a new minister.
I think that's the issue of the Sports Commission and then, of course, the ministry, something which is a little bit beyond me. I don't really want to make too much of a statement there, but I think they should empower the National Sports Commission, it being a technical department, to operate, strictly with probably the chairman of the board, who, well, in some case, maybe they should report to either the minister or the President's office and case review. That's our own opinion. That's why I say probably you don't need a minister, but as it is right now, yes, we have him. He's welcome. That will be a decision by government to look into the issue of the Sports Commission and then, of course, Sports Ministry. It's not a little bit beyond me.
All right. I would certainly hope that the Minister, Solomon Dalong, will definitely hit the ground running, as we normally say, and let's achieve great things in sports, especially with the 2016 Olympics coming next year. Well, thank you so much for spending time with us, Mr. Tunde Pokwala. We appreciate your time.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right.
Okay, I actually picked some things from him. He talked about youth empowerment, he talked about sports policy, he talked about funding and support other sports. Then he also gets advisory boards to actually advise him on what to do, since he doesn't really have experience in that aspect.
Yes.
He talks about infrastructure. National Stadium is #1. I know what he was referring to. I've been to NOC Secretariat every time. I mean, it's really not looking cool. Then it's taking sport as a business, not just as leisure. And
not
you don't
just
really
as,
do leisure.
absolutely.
You don't have to do
Absolutely.
recreation only, but as business, you can also make money out of it. Then he can also develop other sports, and if he doesn't do that, people will definitely not be happy with him. And another one is the school policy. I mean, where you have schools, you don't really have playgrounds and all that, and you expect to develop sports. And how can you do that when you don't have this policy? So you can actually have a policy whereby if you have a school, they want to start, I mean, you don't have to actually give them, what do they call it? Certificate to operate if they don't really have the necessary facilities where they can actually groom young athletes to actually train.
I think he got it spot on. But again, I would say that these are things that are not new to us, really.
Exactly, that's what I was coming to.
We know these things.
So he's actually saying, work on this thing we already have.
Exactly, especially with the issue of sports policy, because I know that while some of these ministers, while they were going through the confirmation hearing, we hardly heard anything coming from the lawmakers, that's the upper legislative chamber, the Senate, asking them, if you happen to be a sports minister, what policies are you bringing? We hardly heard that. I'm not sure if we even got any. The closest we got was Adebayo Shitu, who is now the Minister of Communications, and he talked about going back to traditional sports and revamping it.
It's not just talking about it. I mean, what we have, I mean, I love what Tunde Pokwala said. Don't just talk about it. I mean, get a board that can tell you, okay, this is what we really want, this is what has been on ground, and these are the areas you need to start working on.
Yeah, and work on it, because that's always been the problem.
You talk about it,
but they don't work on it. Yeah.
Now, if you check last year, we had issues. Even this year, some athletes can't even travel because they don't even have funds. They don't have the money to go for competition. It's really sad. So when you have a situation like that and you don't have the sports policy, and you don't have so many things working for you, you just
keep going around in circles.
Ayrton said it. We do a lot of talking.
We do a lot of
walking. There's a sports policy on ground, on paper. I've seen it before. But it's all about implementing it. It's all about making it work for the betterment of Nigerian sports. That hasn't been the case in the past, in recent times, if I'm being brutally honest. So hopefully the new minister, Solomon Dalong, can really make it work this time around.
All right.